First of all, Ashok Malik, thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News 18. You must be seeing the kind of retaliation that is coming in from Pakistan, the escalation that it is attempting on its side. Do you believe that as it stands, the decision making in Pakistan has gone completely rogue? Or what is the sense that you're getting from what they're doing or attempting to do right now versus India?
Look, the Pakistani army is a rational army. It's not it might be rogue in some of its imperatives, but they are thinking people there, the rational people there. They will take risk up to a certain limit. That's my presumption. That has always been the case with the Pakistani army, going back to the 1965 war, when the moment Punjab was threatened by the Indian army, they uh, took measures to course correct. They've always done that. They did that with Kargil as well, once they faced the brunt. Now, what's happened here is that if you look at the three cross-border surgical strikes and counter-terrorism strikes that India has launched in the Prime Ministry of Prime Minister Narendra Modi between 2016 and 2025, the one in 2025 is qualitatively different. The one in 2016 went only a few kilometers into Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, essentially from one neighborhood to another, or almost. The one in 2019 struck deeper in Balakot, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which was a frontier province of Pakistan. This time we have struck in Mulitke and in Bhavalpur, in the heart of Pakistan. We have struck facilities of the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. It is not important whether 2 people have died or 200. That is not the metric that must bother us. We may never know the answer. We have struck facilities at the heart of Pakistan, in the heart of Pakistani Punjab, which is the core region of Pakistan's self-identity and of the Pakistani army. It's where the Pakistani army's generals and soldiers tend to come from. So once we have sent the message that no part of Pakistan, not even precious Punjab, Pakistani Punjab, is off limits when it comes to protecting India's people and security and taking steps against terrorist facilities. Once we've done that, we have sent the Pakistani generals and army a very tough message, a tougher message than 2019 or 2016. As such, some retaliation, some escalation on their part was expected. And it has come in the last, it has come last night. We saw that it was fairly brutal. We fought back. We managed to thwart all the attacks. Now, at which point does the Pakistan army say that, fine, we have done enough and now let's de-escalate? That is a decision for them to take. That is a decision for General Modi to take, for his army to take, for his generals to take. The ball is really in their court. India had two goals, I would say, with what happened on May 7th and before May 7th, after the diabolical terror attack of April 22nd in Pahalgam. The first goal was to strike at terror facilities in geographies where they had not struck earlier, as I said, in Pakistani Punjab. And second, with the Indus Waters Treaty being put in abeyance, they have sent a longer term message, as in the Indian government has sent a longer term message that we are going to revisit some of the assumptions of interdependency and cooperation that have guided our Pakistan policy for 70 or 80 years. And if you have turned your back on South Asia and on the subcontinent, well, there are steps we can take to pay you back in the same coin. And I would say that the longer term impact of the Indus waters not being shared with the generosity that India has shown over the past 60, 65 years is deeply troubling for Pakistan. So, as I said, the ball is now in Pakistan's court. We have achieved the message we wanted to send.
Yeah.
If they escalate, we'll be forced to escalate. If they don't escalate, we will not. But that decision is in their hands.
No, absolutely. And, that is the difficulty, that we don't know exactly which way Pakistan will go. But I want to ask you, India is also on an economic trajectory where it obviously doesn't want to get drawn into a war. How do you see, the perspective from India's side? And will India also be willing to take on a full-scale war if that is what Pakistan pushes on us?
Look, if someone pushes a full-scale war, you'll obviously have to respond. But I don't think anybody in India wants a full-scale war. I don't think our purpose is to go in for a full-fledged war. Quite honestly, if you go back to Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri's press conference on the morning after or the morning of Operation Sindoor, he very clearly said we did not target military facilities or civilian facilities. We targeted terror facilities, Lashkar-e-Toiba facilities, the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed. We targeted terror camps. We did not target the Pakistan military, the Pakistan government, Pakistani civilians. So it is not India's intention to bring in a launch or participate in a full-fledged war. I don't think anybody in India wants that. That is not the purpose of this exercise. It was a response clearly to factories of terror, sometimes supported by the Pakistan Army and Pakistan state, but factories of terror which threaten, frankly, not just India, which threaten Pakistan itself.
Right.
Okay. So I don't think anybody in India wants a full-fledged war. Uh, is there an economic cost to any conflict, small or large? Yes, there is. But to be honest, when international business comes to India and invest in India, uh, it does not want conflict. I agree, but it also wants a country that stands up for itself and is able to protect its people, its economic facilities, its critical infrastructure, and stand up to terrorism. So. Operation Sindoor, Operation Sindoor, as it has happened so far, uh, has a certain understanding from the international community, both the international political community and the international business community. Of course, they would not want to see it go into a full-fledged war. Nobody would, not even anybody in India.
Hmm. But how do you see this from the perspective that, India could be, there is some thought that India could be goaded into this situation, that this entire Pahalgam attack was in a way orchestrated, one, to disrupt normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir and its economy, but also to overall kind of stall India's progress. How do you see, just the economic progress? Could there be attempts to halt India's economic progress? We are surrounded not just with Pakistan on one side, but even with China. And China has also attempted a few things in the past at the LAC.
Let's limit it to Pahalgam and what happened there. Obviously, as India grows as an economy, as India grows as a power, there will be adversaries who will try and sabotage this process. That we should take that for granted. If you are rising as a journalist in your organization, there'll be people who are proud of you and encourage you. There'll be people who are not proud of you and will try and trip you up. That's life. Okay, that's life for individuals. That's life for countries. So we will face challenges. Perhaps from Pakistan, perhaps from other countries, that we will have to protect ourselves against that. In the case of Pahalgam, it was clear that the tourist season, which had just begun and which
Hmm.
would probably have advanced even further as school vacations began in northern India in May, that tourist season was sought to be sabotaged. And also, since tourists from across the country, from Gujarat, Arunachal Pradesh, Bengal, Haryana, various parts of the country were killed. There was a hope in Pakistan that this would trigger religious clashes in India. Thankfully, India's people, India's systems, India's government have risen above all of this. In fact, even people in Kashmir have risen above all of this. Because if you look at the anger and pushback against this terror attack, even among Kashmiris, among Indians across the country, the sentiment has been fairly uniform. People have seen
Okay.
through it. So, yes, there might have been some odd voices which are discordant. I'm not denying that. But
Yeah.
broadly, the Pakistan's attempt to sabotage social relations in India has failed. Uh, I'm hopeful that to sabotage economic advance in Kashmir and in Jammu and Kashmir, and there has been significant advance since 2019. Jammu and Kashmir is not paradise, it's not ideal, it's not where we want it to be, but there has been significant advance since 2019. We need to recognize that. Pakistan recognizes that, and which is why it is trying to sabotage it.
Right. Just an overview of, just who are those people in our close vicinity, plus internationally, who may be able to impress upon Pakistan to not take this any further. We know that attempts are being made. We know that statements to the effect have been made. But do you believe, one, that Pakistan will listen to anybody? And secondly, who could those powers be that could really influence this to ensure
Powers
that
that
it doesn't
could
escalate?
powers that could influence Islamabad and Rawalpindi not to escalate, because it is entirely in their interest to escalate. If they escalate, we will be forced to escalate. But I imagine countries that are friends of uh, India and also have the better interest of Pakistan in mind. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, which is a friend of India and has been an old patron of Pakistan. Countries such as the US, which still counts for a lot in Pakistan. I don't know what the Chinese will be saying. I don't think the Chinese want to get involved directly, to be honest, in a conflict with India. They are quite happy to see Pakistan do a bit, but not beyond a certain point. But more than other countries, I think good sense has to prevail within Pakistan itself, because in the end, it's Pakistan's organic decision that what steps do you want to take to, and what will be the outcome of those steps for your own country? That is a question Pakistan has to ask itself. No other country can ask that question on behalf of Pakistan.
One final question about Pakistan's funding. Experts do suggest that it is too dangerous a country because of its nuclear capabilities, too dangerous to fail, which is why that it continues to be mollycoddled by the international community to a certain extent, even today, even after US pulled out of Afghanistan and US military aid was cut, because it has nukes, and therefore funding from the IMF just continues as an open tap. Do you think time has come that the international community might review this finally?
See, there are two things here. One, I think Pakistan's utility to the West, to America, for instance, has declined. It has not fallen to absolute zero, but it has declined since the American troops withdrew from Afghanistan in, what was it, 2021, 22, 21 and 22, when they withdrew from Afghanistan. And you're seeing that in the American response to Pakistan this time. Yes, Pakistan is a very strategically important geography, connecting South Asia and Central Asia. Yes, it has nuclear weapons, which gives us a certain blackmailing capacity. But there is a limit to how far that can take you. And it's a country that has continuously placed itself in the hands of one superpower or the other, without caring for its own people and its own development. So, whatever assistance it gets, the question is, how does it use that assistance? Does it use it for its own people, or does it use it for its generals and their lifestyles? That's a question that Pakistan has never been able to answer honestly. And in terms of the economic impact, the economic steps we can take on Pakistan, today the Indian economy is much larger. It has business and trade linkages with many major economies in the region, in the broader Asian region, as well as in the West. It also has. It's also an important investment and business destination for big companies, big banks, and financial institutions. In times to come, I'm sure we can use this to in our own way, impose sanctions against not all of Pakistan, but against certain entities in Pakistan that are clearly linked to perhaps the army, because the army is a big business. It's almost a business house in Pakistan. It controls banks, factories. So we can impose sanctions on our own as India and attempt to get those companies and institutions that do business in India to, in effect, choose. So there are steps we can take. There is the FATF that can be approached again. We approached it very effectively after 2008, after the Mumbai attacks. So there are economic steps we can take, and I'm sure the IMF meeting will also see a lot of argument.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashok Malik, for joining us. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.